I'm Proma,
And I'm Radhika.
and together we're Prom Rad. In
In
person.
person.
You can
Finally.
We're here. We're going to be doing our Q2 favorites. This was an episode that we did after the first 3 months of the year. We're bringing it back. Is it Q2 over yet? It's
I
been
think
over.
we have the same conversation every single time, which is that there's so much stuff to talk about. And this is just a fun way of spotlighting things that we have not talked about on the show yet, and maybe not even talked to each other about.
And once again, as someone who had to do a lot of end of year lists for a long time, this is a great way for me to kind of narrow it down, create a bracket of sorts for the end of the year. So it's not just like going through this massive list. We both keep lists of everything that we
Yeah.
watch, and we don't have to comb through the entire thing at the end of the year. We can just refer back to this. This is for us.
And crucially, I did have to comb through my list to come up with things for this episode. So we're not fully getting rid of that process. It's just streamlining.
We're pre-combing.
We're pre-combing. I don't know about you, but for me in this batch, I have more movies that have resonated with me than TV shows. And I also don't think I watched as many TV shows. And there was a deluge of things that came out. And I think I just missed a lot of them. So like 4 out of my 5 picks are movies.
I once again have more TV than like
And I think
half of
that's
it's
the balance
TV.
that we need.
Wait, how many do you have?
Well, I was going to say, I think 2 of my picks might be 2 of your picks.
I think I know the two you're thinking of.
Okay.
Should we say it on 3?
And if we're, okay, yeah.
Yeah. If it's the two I'm thinking of, let's say the name of the most recent one at the same time on 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Not suitable for work.
And there we go. What about the other one?
1, 2, 3. Obsession.
Oh, okay. So let's talk not suitable for work first. We just did a little Mindy career retrospective, so we kind of touched on what we liked about the show and where it kind of fits into her larger filmography. But I really enjoyed this, and one of the things that we did talk about in the episode was how much it reminded us of our 20s in New York, and being in New York now too, it's like bringing back a lot of those feelings again. I just really liked how she had all these very disparate characters that are all super ambitious, and I think something that we talked about a lot was like, we were very lost at that age. But this show kind of showed a different version of what that time frame could be. And maybe like it's definitely a Gen Z show. The characters are all Gen Z, I should say. And I do think that generation kind of knows what they want. They're very ambitious. They're like out there doing things in a way that I feel like I did not have the capacity to do at that age.
Well, it's also about just such different jobs in a lot of respects than like what we were doing, and we felt that way at the time where we were like the only 2 people we know who were pursuing media and entertainment and like the creative lifestyle, but not even sure how to do that. Like it wasn't the same as our friends who were trying to be like actors and dancers, so we didn't know. We were in this kind of cusp, this kind of liminal space between those things and not really sure how to navigate it. So watching it reminded me a lot of the people we knew in our 20s who did have like good salaries and nice apartments and stuff like that, and we had mice.
Yeah, but it was interesting because the creative, like I'm thinking of the Avantika character who is trying to work in fashion and is really kind of slumming it in that as an assistant. But she's living in a beautiful apartment with her investment banker roommate.
It's furnished nicely because it's a TV show, and I don't want to, like, I appreciate that. Like, of course, why are you not going to get a good production designer and a great set and everything and, like, dress it with all those details? But we had, like, IKEA mattresses and bed. This isn't going to turn into us, like therapy about our 20s. I do want to talk about the cast, which we didn't name check in our Mindy episode. Avantika, Vandanapu, who we have mentioned already, who I've been a fan of her since Disney Channel original movie Spin.
Same.
Anyone?
Same.
Wonderful film. Amazing actress. She has also, like, not to pull on the fact that she is Indian American, but she has very like Bollywood expressions in a good way. Like her face is very, very expressive. And some actors are more expressive in the face or with the body language or with their line delivery. And I just see so much happening in that journey, which I really enjoy.
But she's very in control of what she's doing too. And it's interesting because she plays such different characters too. Because she played Karen in Mean Girls, and those expressive eyes specifically were such a big part of that character. Yeah. And then moving into this character, Abby, similarly, like using her eyes and using the expressions on her face.
She also has like dancer physicality that works. It doesn't, again, it sometimes makes you kind of clunky when you're doing normal acting, but it didn't. I think it plays as one of her strengths. All of her skills are really working for her as they should. Her roommate, AJ, is played by Ella Hunt, who was in Dickinson, the Apple show. I haven't watched
I did
a
not
single
watch
frame.
that either.
She's great. She's not American, doing a great accent.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw a video of her and I was stunned. You would think that after decades of consuming entertainment and celebrity content, it
We
would
could spot that.
or it would like
Or not be
stop being such a
surprised.
shock every time someone's
Yeah.
not American, but some people are not American.
A fact of life, yes.
Across the hall, we have Nicholas Duvernay, who was seen in The White
The White
Lotus,
Lotus. Underutilized in The White Lotus,
Yes.
honestly.
but
I
not
really-
in this show.
I did really like. I think my favorite part of the show was the will they won't they of Avantika's character and Nicholas's character, which doesn't really take shape really until the back half. Not even back half. The like last 3 episodes maybe.
I think I wanted more from
And
that
I did
show.
too.
Okay.
100%. But I liked that it's like kind of.
I like that it's something to look forward to, and honestly, I feel I don't want to cheapen it, but the fact that they did draw it out and not go further with it, to me, kind of gives it more importance in terms of the larger arc of the
Yeah.
series. So it's
Like that is Endgame,
Yeah.
basically. Setting it up that way, at least. And I don't know, they do have chemistry, so it was sold to me
Yeah.
in a way.
And then we have Angus, played by Will Davis, who I believe was like, he's like an influencer. He made a lot of comedy videos online. I've never seen him in anything before. Very funny. And we've seen a lot of this in their social media too, like as in the promotion for the show. They're not afraid to get unhinged, any
Yeah.
of them, which is really, really fun to see. And I think Will Angus and Jack Martin, who plays the other roommate,
The Michigan grad.
yeah, they seem very, like, they seem like they might be the straight man crazy one like comedy duo, but they're both insane. They're all insane.
Yeah,
It's a
they're all
Mindy
insane.
Kaling show. Everyone's insane.
Jack Martin's character is the Nepo baby. And I don't know, it's like he's a little too altruistic in that, where he's like, oh, I'm gonna be the one Nepo baby that tries to save everyone else. And
The
I'm
world's
like,
first ethical nepo baby.
Yeah, and I was like, this is cool, I guess, but I kind of wish that like that storyline was like fine to me.
I think we got some good jokes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
What did you feel about that love triangle between the two of them and Ella Hunt's
Ella
character? Wait, I kind of like that one because I genuinely had no idea which way it was gonna go.
That okay, I will say the surprise around it. I was left not knowing like you said, not knowing which way it would go. I just don't. I think the Angus character, I find he's too smothering, and in a way that I was like, people are gonna take the wrong thing from this. Of he's such a nice guy and he can't get the girl and all. And I didn't like where I could see that potentially going from audience reactions. And on the other hand, Jack's character, and I forget everyone's character's name, so like that's why I'm saying it this way.
I'm here to say his name is okay. This is fair to be confused. The actor is Jack and the character is Josh. Stop doing this, Hollywood.
I guess it's like he's portrayed as the douchey one, and then he is supposed to have this heart of gold, which is fine. I just was like, I'm not like compelled by either of them. I think that was the problem, is I was like, they're both.
I agree about Will Angus's character. There was like he was borderline, like there was a degree of entitlement about deserving AJ's love, which brings us to Obsession.
That's perfect.
Okay, when I saw Obsession, I couldn't speak afterward. It was hard to immediately go into debrief mode. This happened to me very few times, but luckily with increasing frequency in the past few years, where I will see a movie and then afterward just be like, I need to sit and reflect and be in silence. And that happened after this one. What a film.
Incredible. I resisted seeing this. I woke up to a text from my friend who had sent me this text at 6 in the morning saying that because we're AMC A-list Entourage members, and so he can just like book a ticket for me. And it was opening night, and he was like, I booked this ticket. And I was like, absolutely not. You know that I don't like horror, so like, why would I know? And he's like, you have to see it.
I spoke to you that day and you were like, I'm going to see Obsession. I was
Yeah.
like, are you okay?
And
Blink twice?
Yeah, like literally for people who don't know me, I like resist horror. I hate it. Mainly because I can't sleep after. Like that was like the main reason. I had a blast in this movie. Like it was like I was watching a lot of it through my fingers because I was so nervous. But like my biggest takeaway is Indy Navarrete.
Whoa.
What a
Whoa.
star. She's incredible. The way that she contorts her face in that movie, I was blown away. Like absolutely star making. And if we're gonna give Aunt Gladys an Oscar, like she's next in line. I'm sorry.
Obsession is about a young man named Baron, who thinks he's in love. He is infatuated. He wants to date his friend Nikki, and instead of telling her, he's like very, very nervous to tell her and ask her out, and instead he makes a wish that she would love him more than anyone in the world. And then, because it's a horror movie, we see a real monkey's paw situation. One Wish Willow taking over monkey's paw. I've read that short story. I'll never forget.
Apparently, Curry Barker has not, and he he got it from The Simpsons. Can't make this shit up.
We're losing ancient texts. The youth, okay.
Well, The Simpsons are keeping it alive.
As long as he's aware about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a very small cast. Mainly it's the two of them who are just spectacular. It is like, a lot of it is hard to watch, I will say. I've seen a lot of discourse around like how great the writing and the acting and the directing is, the production, the lighting design, my good, like just a stunningly made and performed and executed film on all fronts. Not as much I've seen, but maybe I also saw it much later, about like proceed with caution if you haven't seen it, like a viewer discretion. There are some parts that are really hard to watch, but I think that it's handled so well, and it's not really telling you what to think exactly, but it's making it so clear that there's only one way to interpret a lot of it. It's not pedantic in its messaging. It just conveys the horrors and is like, okay, well, decide how you feel about it.
Yeah, I had one qualm with the movie, which was that, so the whole movie is lingering in this gray area of like, is he kind of being like possessive over her? And I actually thought it was towing the line really well, where it was like, he made this wish not knowing, like, he bought this thing, he didn't think it was actually magic, and like, whatever. And it was kind of just like this crazy situation that he's gotten himself into. And then there's a part in the movie where it's the only time when the real Nikki like is able to communicate with Bear, and she's like, just kill me. I like need to get out of this. I'm in hell. Like, just let me go. And he's like, well, is it so bad to be with me? And that line just, I felt like that was not the point of the movie for me. So I was kind of like, it like threw me off a little bit, because that was not how I had read his character. Like, he is kind of like riding on this situation, but I was not perceiving it as him being
This like whiny baby kind of.
yeah, like exactly. And I was like, he kind of just got himself in a bad situation and was not trying to do that, and he was not being evil about it.
I think his character, the character building around Bear is so subtle, and that moment feels like a weaker one. So I actually do agree with you. I hadn't really thought that part through. It was interesting because I was, you're watching it for a lot of it, and they've talked about this too, about him being a good guy in many other ways, and what it's interesting to see for people what the point is, where you kind of start to see that turn. It's more than anything, I just think he's selfish, like he's weak.
I just wish that they had played that scene a little differently, I think, then, because the selfishness is what comes through in a way that didn't land for me, I think.
Here's an argument. If that was a moment of, like, a brief moment of the real Nikki, is it a brief moment of the real Bear? Sitting in that weakness and finally saying out loud what he's been wondering this whole time.
And I think that is what they were going for. I think it just threw me off, because that was not how I had read the character up until that point. And then I was like, wait. Now, like, I was thinking of him as a pavam. It's like, like, which is my favorite Malayalam word for, like, a helpless person.
Bichara.
Who just, like, doesn't. We might have some white listeners, Proma.
Bichara.
But basically, he just, like, is this helpless, innocent, naive person. And I had not kind of shaded him with selfishness until.
I don't think he considered that being with him through the mechanics of the wish would cause her the kind of suffering
pain.
it did. That she's going to be in this like mind prison,
Yes,
shrieking and suffering and wanting to get out. For me, the turning point was when he learned that, when it's clear to him that she is alive, sentient somewhere, and suffering, and he continued on. That's when I was like, all right, no more problem for you.
Yes, agreed. All that said, I think the ending is absolutely perfect. And
they filmed another. Do you know that?
no, what was the other? Do you know
How much do I spoil?
If you haven't seen Obsession, like, just skip forward.
Go see
At
it.
this
It's probably
point.
still in theaters, and you should see it in the theater.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
filmed
sorry.
a version where she did die, and then it's
Okay.
just like all of this
I like
death and carnage. He changes his mind because she broke the one wish of Willow and wished for him to love her the way she
Yeah.
loves him. People have pointed out that that means he didn't love her before. He was obsessed. That one really blew my mind.
Yeah, I have to sit with that.
My second TV show pick is Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed. It stars Tatiana Maslany as a divorced woman in New York City negotiating the custody terms of her young daughter with her ex-husband, Jake Johnson. It's a lot more drama for him, but there's one scene where he gets to just be full on, just like lean into his comedy chops, and they started rolling and were kind of like, go for it. It's so funny. He's really good.
I have not seen this, and I don't know anything about it. So.
I knew both of them were in it, and that was it. Like, I remember the deadline announcement saying there is a show coming with these two. I don't want to say too much because I went in knowing nothing, and I had a great time. So Tatiana Maslany's character is also, at the same time, she is involved with a camboy. She is having an online, like, sexual relationship through video chat with this young man. And then one of their video chats just takes a turn and leads her on this insane journey, which is the kind of the A story for the rest of the show. But at the same time, like, she has her family life, she has her relationship with her ex-husband, there's bits and pieces of their past coming forth, there's the people at work who she's not sure how much she can trust them and bring them along on this journey. It is so well acted. The writing kept me amazingly on my toes. Murray Bartlett is in it. I don't want to say more and how, but he is having the best time. He gets more to do, and it goes in some crazy directions.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's on Apple TV Plus. I believe the whole show is out now.
Big year for like cam girl, cam boy.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of that happening on Apple itself.
Yeah.
Because what was the
Someone at Apple was like, I have an idea. Don't ask me where this came from.
What was the Elle Fanning show called? With Nick Offerman. But that was also like an OnlyFans basically show. And I feel like there's something else that it popped up into. So I'm like, is that like the new trend?
Maximum Pleasure Guaranteed. Now streaming.
Okay. I'm trying to decide like which one I want to do first. I think I'll go with Power Ballad, which is the Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas movie. And say less, right? Paul Rudd is this wedding singer in Ireland. And he had moved there. He fell in love with a woman there, and like he was trying to be a rock star, fell in love with her. They have a child. So like he basically just up and moved his life there. But music is still very important to him. So he has this wedding band as like his way of staying connected to that version of himself. He's playing a gig one night, and Nick Jonas's character is basically this world-renowned boy band star poised to make a comeback, and he is friends with the groom. So he's at this wedding. He hops up on stage. They do a song together. And initially, Paul Rudd's character is like, this guy, like whatever. And then they end up doing a jam session later at night, fully have a bromance, and Paul Rudd's character plays a piece of the song that he had been working on. And they kind of like workshop it together, and then they don't really exchange numbers to stay in touch. And a few months later, Paul Rudd hears his song played on and this is all in the trailer, so this is not. Basically, it's like about them both trying to hold on to these versions of themselves musically. And so Paul Rudd is on a mission to at least just get acknowledgement that it was his song, because I think it's just an important thing to him of his identity. He's like, I don't even need credit. You don't need to pay me. Like, I don't need royalties. I just want you to acknowledge the fact that I wrote this song. It's a John Carney movie. So the guy who did Sing Street and Once, and he's always doing music films. And I just really loved it. And the song at the center is so catchy. It doesn't work without that song being so good. I had a great time. And they have really good chemistry. Nick Jonas, good actor. Did we know this? I didn't know this.
Did you not watch the Very Jonas Christmas movie?
I did not. But I did watch Camp Rock, like, ages ago.
I don't know why I had such a physical... When you were about to say no, I was like, oh my god, she hasn't seen it. So I gasped a little too early. It might feel rehearsed, but it was real. Oh my god, Very Jonas Christmas movie. This is not part of... It's really good.
And Paul Rudd is always good. So it was really fun. I had a great time. I recommend.
All right, my next pick is sports.
Oh.
I have just had such a wonderful time these past couple months being a bandwagon Knicks fan, jumping into the NBA. I'm not a sports person, you know this, but at the same time, I have always respected the culture.
You are famously sports bitch.
Yeah, I had
she comes out occasionally.
I had a bit for a while called sports bitch, which is literally the term is bandwagon fan, I believe. But I was like, oh, suddenly I'll just like clock in and get really invested. The reason I don't is because there's a lot of heartbreak in general. Also, we watch so many things. It's another thing to watch. I can't always have it on my plate. But I've always loved, we went to a big sports school. I love the sense of community around it. I loved being part of that. When I went to the one football game, I went to an undergrad, which was the best one, so no regrets.
Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sports are always fun because it's just like the camaraderie.
Yeah.
For us, because we went to the school too, it helped because there's level of connection. I can only imagine how a Knicks fan feels today.
Was so much fun. And then also the journalist part of me was like, okay, if I've decided that I'm gonna care about this and watch this, I also do really, basketball is the sport that I enjoy watching the most. And much in the way that I guess a lot of people also start to care about other sports like during the Olympics. I was like, okay, if this is going to be my whole thing right now, I want to do my research. I want to learn about the key players and the lore and all of it. And the more I learned about the arc of the Knicks winning this championship, the more also it's cinematic. It is entertainment in that way. I was
Story
like,
is too good.
this is a movie. This is a TV show 53 years in the making. I had such a good time. I saw every game at a different bar with different people and just like I was on the train near Madison Square Garden one day coming home on the subway after like the first win and so got to experience all of the things that were happening in different pockets. I just had so much fun and I just loved being here and seeing everyone. It felt like every 2 days we had a citywide holiday. At some point by the end, a lot of people my age were like, "Oh, I do miss like normal sleep schedules." But
I was gonna say, as someone who has not really regretted leaving New York in the time that I've left it, oh my God, during this and Mamdani, I was just like, damn, I want to be in New York.
that everyone keeps posting the SpongeBob meme of like watching New York from
No,
afar.
literally, that's how I felt. I did watch the finals at a bar in LA where everyone in the bar, there was like 3 people that were for the Spurs and they don't count. But everyone was just so hyped because the story is so good too. Because usually with these big cities, like I feel this way about LA, like the Lakers and the Dodgers, I'm like, they're always winning. So I don't feel inclined to root for them because it's not an underdog story. The Knicks were an underdog story. And so therefore I was a fan.
Everyone loves an underdog, and I think and we saw that. I think the Lions did not make it to the Super Bowl yet.
We can't talk about that. So we lost in like AFC, NFC, whatever championship. This is a heartbreak. I will never forget. But I was wearing my Lions sweatshirt to go get groceries like the next day, and someone stopped me and was like, I was rooting for you guys. I was just like, can't talk about it. It's too raw still.
So yes, that was a lot of fun. One of my favorite things that I've like watched and experienced culturally this year. And yeah, again, Lions next.
What is my next one? Okay, so
Is it a movie?
You better believe it. Okay, the next movie that I have is God Is. It was fantastic. It is a blaxploitation, like Western kind of. And it basically follows these 2 girls who, content warning, honestly, trigger warning, at the hands of their father, they suffered these really traumatic burns. So like one girl's face is burned and the other's entire hand is burned. They're also estranged from their mom. Basically, their mom finally makes contact with them and she is also fully burned. And she's like, you need to go find your father and kill him, basically. And so they're set out on this journey of like all the stops of like what they know about him, and like each stop reveals more and gets them closer. And the father is played by Sterling K. Brown, and he is the most menacing I've ever seen him, which is crazy because he is like America's sweetheart.
Sweetest man.
Yeah. He is so menacing in this movie, and for the longest time, the only thing that you see about him is his smile and his feet. His shoes. And the smile is very sinister because it's played in that context. It is so well done, and I feel like no one saw this movie. It's so stylish too, and the way that because it's adapted from a play. I think the playwright adapted it for screen, and so it, I think, keeps a lot of the elements. I haven't seen or read the play, so I'm not sure, but a lot of people that I know that saw both were really impressed with both. It was great. I think you specifically, I think, would really like it.
Okay. This is about you and me. So,
Yes.
So my next one is another TV show on Apple TV, Widow's Bay. They're crushing it. Widow's Bay, which is a horror comedy, not 2 words you often hear mashed up together, very difficult tone to strike. That is another that I just binged very, very quickly. I think it was over a weekend where it was kind of like rainy and I didn't have plans, and I was like, it was a very cozy show to be a little bit scared by, but also laugh a lot. It's set in this New England. It's set in a town called Widow's Bay, which is trying to be the next Martha's Vineyard, but unfortunately they are too haunted. A man is haunted, which is Matthew Rhys playing the mayor. He doesn't believe in any of the stuff that's going on, and he's like, everyone in this town is like so caught up in the mythology, and you need to get over the superstition. Like, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna open our doors to tourists. It's gonna be a great time. And then once he starts to do a little bit of digging to satisfy the people, he does learn that there's quite a bit of haunting. And so the first few episodes, which you have seen, were scarier to me in that like each one has like a haunting of the week because he's exploring these different legends. There is content warning, a scary clown
Oh my God.
in one of them.
Okay, this reminded me of when I went to see Weapons and people told me that it was not scary, and then I went to see it and it was extremely like there were so many jump scares, and you did warn me in this, but that clown really
I didn't know when
got
you were
me.
actually like sat down. I timed it. I was gonna tell you like, okay, there's gonna be a scary clown and
Yeah.
like be ready. And I'm sorry.
I probably didn't tell you that I had pressed play on that episode. So
And then there's so many because it's like a small town. There's all these other little characters who pop up. By the way, if you Google Widow's Bay,
Yeah.
it says, "Did you mean the next Martha's Vineyard and definitely not cursed?" I just thought
I
it
took a
was.
screenshot
I thought
of
it was
that
going to go
already.
away. Okay. I have to talk about Patricia, who is one of the characters. She works for Tom, Matthew Reese's character, the mayor. Patricia is a little oddball. She's so great. She's played by Katie O'Flynn, who's again physicality. Her body language is so just the right like awkward funny. I don't know how she does it. She simply must be this awkward in real life. I know she's not, but like it's a really hard thing to achieve that comedic actors only I think are good at. And then she turns out to have her own kind of emotional backstory, and it makes you really feel for that character. Throughout it, I was just like like I want to watch Patricia constantly. Her interactions with other characters. There's like a phone call, a voicemail that she leaves Tom where she's like, well, I'm at the event, which you're not at, which you're supposed to be at, or something. Just that, right? Like,
Yeah.
funny, passive aggressive, everything. She's fantastic. Our beloved Jeff Hiller has a great. Mostly,
he's
I'm
not in it enough.
he's not in it
though.
enough, but I'm glad he's getting Apple money.
Yes.
And-
And they just renewed it for season 2, so
Yes.
maybe he will have a. I don't know. I haven't finished it. I hope he makes it to the end of the season.
I did feel that in the back half, it stops being haunting of the week, which is fine, but it gets caught up in a very specific haunting and lore that didn't quite do it for me
Was
as
it
much
the
as I.
flashback
Yeah.
thing? Yeah, I did see that.
Didn't
one.
quite do it for me as much as it seems to have done it for other people. But the flashback gives us Betty Gilpin, incredible. Hamish Linklater, who's always also playing a little freak.
Yeah.
If anyone has watched Legion, my 3 Legion fans out there.
And Midnight Mass. He was
Yeah.
crazy in that too.
Yeah. So Widow's Bay, which I believe has also finished its first season, got a season 2. Shout out to series creator Katie Dippold. And
Parks and Rec writer.
yeah, again, the
Which is so
comedy
fun.
trains people well for everything. It is a comedy, but still.
My last one is a film called Girls Like Girls. It's by Haley Kiyoko, and I think it started as a song that she then turned into a music video that became a book and is now a film. I think that was the trajectory. It's basically a queer love story, and it's set in the early 2000s, so it's like our era of coming of age, and it's so just like tender and sweet, and it's a lesbian love story of these two girls. One's new in town after her mother has passed away, and she's moving in with her dad, who she like doesn't have a relationship with really. So there's like that tension of her trying to figure out like who are you and like why like now you're suddenly trying to be my dad. Zach Braff is the father. They're so like in my mind they're the same person.
That mistake actually makes so much sense.
So Zach Braff plays the father, and then and I'm forgetting all the characters' names, but the girl who's
Jack, Josh, Tom.
well, it's a girl, so no, none of those. I guess Jack could work. But basically she meets this group of friends, and one of them she's immediately taken to, and the girl also is treating her slightly differently, but clearly has not come to terms with her own sexuality yet. So there's like the tension of them both trying to figure out how they feel about each other, and there's like a lot of hurt there. And I just thought it was so tender and nice and made me feel so many things. And it's also kind of a period piece that took me back to my adolescence of just feeling your like first feelings of having a crush on someone and how that can really make you crazy.
Yeah.
And what's also crazy is the main girl, Maya DaCosta, is the actress. She's our age, playing like 16 or 17 or whatever. It's also her playing her own coming of age because she was that age at the time that this film was set. So it's all crazy. Highly recommend. It's really sweet. I had a great time. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, my last one, which we did touch upon in a previous episode, but neither of us had read this, and now I have. Lena Dunham's memoir, Famesick, which we talked about this much more in depth in our episode with Aaron Strecker, spring theater and books recommendations. But yeah, just reiterating, she is a phenomenal writer. Like the way that she literally like the word order sentence structure of her prose is just very compelling and very satisfying to me. She opened up a lot. She reflects on some really difficult times in her life. A lot of it, again, being about her just her relationship with her body and like learning about these different kind of physical ailments periodically, figuring out who she was at the same time that she's, fame sick. The title is the pun on the fact that while she was very famous, she was also extremely sick and not aware of it. There were parts where, she goes and has surgery and the doctor isn't sure how she was able to be walking around. And she was not only walking around, but directing and acting in this show in Girls at doing like 12-hour days at a minimum.
That was and I'm not done with the book yet, but that was the most striking part of just, I think I may be 100 pages into it, if that. And so it's like the first part is really her like making tiny furniture and then making Girls, and also falling into this like New York Lower East Side creative community that the Safdie brothers are part of it, Greta Gerwig, like the name dropping that I was like, you guys just like found each other, like how did that happen? That's great.
Oh, wait till you get, this is later on, this is a spoiler, but when she's in London, she goes to a dinner where she's like sat next to Robert De Niro or something. It's Robert De Niro and Bruce Springsteen, and she tells Bruce Springsteen about her breakup, and he does offer advice.
And that's a Lena Dunham thing to do.
Yes.
But like, I was really struck by just like, she's 24 and she's like, yeah, I'm just making this TV show and HBO's gonna do it and I'm gonna direct and write and produce and like do everything. And like,
Widow's Bay, now open
okay,
for tourists.
Oh. HBO approached her and asked if she wanted to do this, but she just churned out a pilot.
Yeah. They asked her if you wanted to write a pilot. They weren't like, we read your pilot, we love it, we want to create it. They were like, we think you're talented, create something.
And then she does, and then she's just like, yeah, and now we're just doing this thing, and I'm doing every job on production. And I think, so we've been watching Girls, this is a peek into our lives right now, but we've been rewatching Girls this week, like while we eat meals, and every time the title card at the end comes up that just says directed by Lena Dunham, written by Lena Dunham, starring Lena Dunham, produced by, I am just in awe of it because it's so good.
I think it's become also because it's very normalized in our current era of TV as well for someone to be like writer, director, showrunner, wear all of those hats, but they are separate jobs for a reason. Any one of those is so much work, and while one angle of it, and certainly the angle that they were pushing when Girls was happening, was like, look at this like wonder kid who can do it all at such a young age. Something that is apparent in the book too is like, this person is very, very young and you put a lot on her. There's a lot of responsibility, including like the success or failure of the show she seems to feel is riding on her shoulders, which probably compounded everything else.
Did.
Yeah.
I mean,
someone put her in that position. She didn't necessarily want to do that from the beginning.
And I don't think she knew that there was an option to maybe not do that.
Yes. So. I mean, that's also, that is famously the time of your life where you figure out what you want. And and it took going through all of it in this very high stakes pressure cooker for her to then realize what she did and didn't want, and maybe is still doing that.
What would you say was your biggest takeaway from the book?
Erin talked about this too, but the two key relationships in the show, or the two key relationships that Lena unpacks, are with Jack Antonoff, her ex-boyfriend, and Jenny Connor, who was her co-showrunner on Girls. I think that one in particular, because they were just like a career match, but it is like, again, this 24-year-old who has no knowledge of this world, who is living a very different life, and this woman who was like in her 40s going through a divorce with two kids, who then become best friends. And again, you can view that as this very like romantic, unlikely situation. But like, of course there was friction. Like they were coming from like very different, they weren't able to give each other what they needed, I'm sure, like on a personal level.
In the interviews, and we talked about this in the episode that we did with Erin, of just like how self-aware she is about that. And she was like, yeah, I acted like a crazy person, but I was 24 and like I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm reading it from the approach of like, she's very self-aware about like everything that has happened and just like being very real about the consequences of some of those actions.
And it's also not, a lot of it's not really like headline fodder. Like it is the thing that we have seen now. We're in our mid-30s. Like sometimes you have friendships, relationships, professional relationships that kind of just like peter out. Yeah. It just happens. And there's no like big like capital I. Yeah, there's no like capital I incident between them. It's just that they're going through different things and they're not really able to show up with each other. They're just kind of like misaligned, and that's that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing that. I didn't bring it with me because it's heavy.
It's a thick one.
It's a thick one.
That's everything.
I think those are
our Q2 faves.
Our Q2 faves. We did it.
We've been really stressing about this for the past couple days since we realized we were gonna record this one in person.
I was scouring my note because I couldn't think of anything, and then I read it and I was like, oh, I actually liked a lot of things in this quarter. Maybe I'll be the movie girl and you be the TV girl. I feel like those are the swim lanes that are happening organically.
I'm trying to watch more movies. I too am an AMC A-lister. I'm
You
just
don't
not.
have an AMC in Brooklyn, which is
Yeah.
actually insane. And AMC will write you a letter about that.
I should just get maybe switch to like an Alamo or a Nighthawk like membership, or
Movie
you know that I am itching to get a Movie Pass subscription at all
I'm
times,
still
as
on
are
their
you.
mailing list, honestly.
Me too. I don't have the heart to unsubscribe because I do. It feels like getting, like a Christmas card from your friend who you don't talk
Yeah.
to anymore.
This is like a complete side story, but I like joined this movie going club in LA called the B-Listers. And it's really fun. Okay, that shit blew up. It started on TikTok. Some guy just like made a video while he was drunk and he was like, I need someone to go watch like Backrooms with. And then people were responding. And then he created a Discord. Within 2 weeks, it is at 3,000 members. And they're just coordinating meetups all over LA. And
That's
it's
beautiful.
There's a chapter in San Diego. There's a chapter in San Francisco. There's a chapter in Portland. So I'm sure it will come to New York at some point. Anyways, in all of this, I was telling someone about the early Movie Pass days. And I was like, you don't understand. It was $10.
I talk about it the way that like boomers talk about Woodstock or something. I'm like, you don't understand. It was the golden era. I was seeing 7 movies a
Are you
month.
chain smoking a cigarette as
Yes.
you do this?
Can't chain smoke one cigarette. I know this.
Do you? Okay, well, thanks for joining us. Let us know what your Q2 faves were, if you've seen any of the things that we've mentioned today.
Do you have an Apple TV subscription, and why or why not? They be
not-
giving them out for free.
Are they?
Like I
They're
feel like
expensive, I feel like.
anytime
They
you get like
raise
an
the-
Apple product or like something, they're like, you've got a year of Apple for free because we don't
Yeah.
need the money.
Okay.
Bye.
I hate tequila.